Hey guys, welcome back. It's Paula here with Paula's Imperfect Plans. Today we are doing our debt and savings updates for the month of April 2025 to see what progress we have made. And we will jump in and start with our debt. So, our first debt here, April, was the month that we removed everything, all the principal from the HELOC, and have it moved to a zero interest balance transfer card. But coming into the month of April, we started with $7,039.97. On April 1st, we made a $31 payment. On April 7th, with our paycheck, we made a $133.65 payment. On April 12th, we paid $22.31. On the 21st, we paid $217.37. And on the 29th, we paid $44.29. And that was both to the HELOC at the beginning of the month and to the card after it was transferred. So then if we come down to interest lost, when we paid off the HELOC, the amount of interest that had to be paid was $72.44, and then the balance transfer fee to do the actual transfer was $347.61, which means that in interest we lost $420.05 this month. So that's rough. Not much principal was paid there because of those fees. So it decreased in principal only $28.57. And that just is what it is for the month. There will be no interest as we pay this off. So the second debt is the other balance transfer card that we transferred principal to previously. So that is at $6,194.98 as we started April. And I am making minimum payments on that one. Since we did a balance we had to move from one balance transfer card to another because of how I had to do it. So now the minimum payment to get that paid off before the promotional period ends is $365. I made that all with our second paycheck, and we lost $0 to interest because it is a zero interest card. So the ending balance on that debt is $5,829.98. That whole 365 went to principal. So in total for our debt decrease this month, it was only $393.57 because of the balance transfer fee and the final amount of interest on the HELOC. That was the only portion that went to debt, but hoping to see some good progress in May. So moving forward, it's always hard, I think, that month when you opt to do that transfer, but definitely it's going to save money kind of in the long run for sure. So yeah, okay, so that is our debt update. I'm going to switch over and we will do our savings update here in just a second. All right, and here we are for our savings update. So in this first column, I have last month, so everything that it was when we did our March update. And so I'll just jump in and update us for April. This first, all these purple-ish ones here are our digital sinking funds. So that's what's all in our high yield savings account, which is where we get our interest each month because all of these are in here. I also have a bucket for each of my kids. I have the majority of their money in some CDs at our bank that's getting, higher interest. And then I add money to the high yield and leave it in there as well. So I don't track their money on here, but there is some additional money that goes toward when our interest is figured, which we put back into our budget. So insurance, again, we pay our insurance premiums every 6 months. So in March, we had $1,561 and now we have $1,961. For vehicle registration, we have $184. I did add the $35 to it this month, but we also paid my Suburban registration, which was due. It's due in May, but I got it, so I paid it. And that was $61. In our Mint Mobile sinking fund, working towards that annual subscription for our kid/home phone is $95. We have nothing in taxes because we had to pay those in March. Our propane is now at 521 cents. Gasoline is at zero. Daycare, saving for this summer's daycare. Is now at 2,720. Christmas is still at 347 as that was the completed challenge. And now we are doing our second set of savings challenges for that. Vehicle repairs, we completed a challenge to put towards that. So that's at 253. Kids is at $237.44. So while I added to that this month, I also took the kids. My 2 girls got haircuts, and I took that out of that sinking fund, as that was a little bit larger expense than what we had cash in our envelope. In medical, we now have $625.06. Tattoos we're not actively saving for currently. In vacation, so I did fund that. I did fund that in April, but then also one of my kids and I went on a trip, so we are down to $52.53 that we have in the vacation sinking fund. Home and pets remain the same because I'm doing savings challenges for those. Mother's Day and Father's Day each have 115. Workout, I realized when I was getting the spreadsheet ready that I wasn't tracking that. That has $61 towards that annual bill in that sinking fund. Our emergency fund is at $3,410.73. So that's the end of the digital ones. I will go through the cash ones quick, and then we will kind of pull up where it came from. So I'm just going to count these while I have the camera going here. So first one in the envelope is annual. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, $86 for annual. Next is birthdays. 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 85. So say I shouldn't have spent any money out of there, but sometimes if we are in a pinch, I do, move stuff around and end up in different places. The kids' envelope is empty with a capital E. Just where we're at right now. Okay, home care or home, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 110, 15, 20, 124. Gifts has 0. I will have to start doing something with that. Otherwise, maybe just cash flowing them, because we do have some graduations that we are invited to. Pets has 20, 30, 40, 45, 52. I did have animals, and I sort of changed it to pets because we actually have some pets now. Okay. And then, so self-care is 20, 40, 60, 80, $95, which is waxes and massages is basically what that is. We did annual and birthdays. Giving has, I pretty much, every time giving is in there, I find someone to give to. So I don't have anything actively in there. Plan and budget has 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And these are all basically funded with our minis, most of them. 15, I said. And boots, 100, 150, 155, 56, 7, 8, 9, 60, 161. I didn't put any minis towards boots last month. Hair, we have 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 100, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 114. And then clothes. I don't know how much. 20, 1, 2, 3. $23 is what we have in clothes. That is all the sinking funds that I have here. So I will unhide these here. Okay, so you can kind of see registration. Obviously, we took some out of because we had to pay the registration. Same thing with vacation. We use that for its intended purpose. All of the rest of those are positive in nature, so we've added to them rather, not spending out of them. If we move down to the cash ones, other than clothes, and which we didn't put any in, and we did spend some from, obviously, and kids we spent from, and didn't add anything to, well, whatever. Maybe we added some to it, but we spent it. Other than that, all have increased or remained the same. So when it comes to our total saving, last month we had $9,189.71. This month we have $11,532.97 with a difference of positive 857. I don't like to put too much stock in that total number because the saving isn't sitting in there, right? So in the month of May, my insurance premiums are due, so almost 2 grand is going to come out. Like some of these are, daycare, like that's going to get emptied over the summer. So some of these will continue to grow, but an emergency like we don't want to have to use. We hope that that continues just to grow, but the rest of these are, they are saved to be spent in the future. So I like to see positive growth. Obviously, it's exciting to see that number be larger because that means that's, we have more in there. There's more interest that we're earning. But overall, I'm not, you know, some months that will be drastically different, like next month in the month of May. It will take a big hit because we will empty out the insurance sinking fund to pay our homeowners and auto insurance premiums for the next 6 months. So, anyway, that is what I have for our updates for the month of April. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Have a happy last day of April, and please like this video on your way out, comment if you feel so inclined, and subscribe if you'd like to stick around. Thanks, guys, for watching.